Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a certain podcast. Today we've got Conor on, one of the executives. We're getting bigger. The executives of a few festivals. You do Tramlines, you do Truck Festival, don't you, mate?
Yeah, boy. I mean, executive makes it sound like I'm a Bertie Big Bollocks, but I'm definitely not that. It's just a title. It's just a title.
Oh.
I mean, executive means we have a lot of staff, but I mean, it's basically just the five of us, so it's not that. I mean, you can big me up.
Yeah, we need to sell the podcast. Think yourself up, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, one big six-figure salary, you know,
Ooh.
window office, all that sort of. But no, I ain't got anything like that.
Well, I mean, obviously, no festivals this year anyway. Are you busy? Is it chaotic as it right now as it would be a normal time of the year, or you're setting up more?
Well, yeah. Well, we it's definitely an adjust to our normal calendar. I mean, usually November, December we would be chock-a-block, but August, September are usually the dead months that we have because we plan like all year. We do the festival, and then it's like you hit a brick wall and you just like take a big breather, and then you get back to it in October, November time. But this year we've sort of kept ourselves a little bit busy. We've been on and off furlough. So I mean, I'm currently on furlough for a little bit now, but doing the odd day here and there. But we're in a comfortable position to kick off again in 2021 for sure. But yeah, it's definitely been a blow, as it were. But no, I'm pretty confident, pretty sound, keeping pretty busy. But yeah, I am on furlough, and I just got a PS5 last week, so that's been keeping.
Oh, you got one, lads.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, my friend accidentally bought two in the pre-order.
No way.
I don't know how you can accidentally buy
What?
two. Yeah. He was just like, he just said, "Do you love me? And do you have £450 to send me?" And I went, "Definitely." So yeah, I got it last Friday.
I've been desperately waiting for a new console. I'm checking stock checker every day.
Yeah, it's I mean, this is not what the podcast is about, but I mean, I can keep talking about it, but it is sick. It is everything you want it to
No,
be.
I'm interested to know now what you've been playing.
Yeah, sack off this festival talk.
Yeah, fair play. I mean, I actually get paid tomorrow, so I've been like just scrounging like Call of Duty and all the free games that come with that and all that sort of stuff. But I haven't had a console in like 10 years, so just trying to get back into the swing of it. That's a job.
I'm an Xbox boy myself, and my
okay.
my Xbox. No, I know. It's we've had better years, but my Xbox is currently on its arse. It is struggling. So I was me and my little brother. We woke up. We were like, all right, final day. If we're getting it time for Christmas, get up.
Yeah.
You and me. We'll sit in. I got the computers open, everything on the phone. We get in. We get put in a queue at like game.com, and then we get put in a queue for like 2 minutes. We're like, oh yeah, sound, we're in a queue. Surely we'll get through, and like just out of stock. So obviously in the time we're in a queue, we think we're sweet. So like, yeah, we definitely got one. They'll save one for us. They wouldn't put us in a queue if they've got none to give.
No. I mean, it's worse than Glastonbury. It is worse. I mean, yeah. And I've been more unlucky with Glastonbury tickets than I have been with lucky, so I can understand that.
Have you ever been Glastonbury?
Definitely. Oh god, yeah, like 4 times. I think.
I've never been.
Yeah, man.
Is it?
Oh mate, I mean, it's the third best festival ever after Truck and
Of
Tramlines.
course.
But yeah, I went last year. Was fun. It was probably the best weekend I've ever had. It was unbelievable.
Who did you see?
Absolutely
Did you see all the headliners? Yeah.
Didn't see Stormzy. We saw Tame Impala, and that was probably again unbelievable. Did see the Killers. The Cure were absolute dog shite. But
You're not a fan?
not dog shite. Maybe. Oh no, definitely. But I mean, it was Sunday after like 4-day bender,
Yeah.
and you're like, bloody hell, just get to the tunes. You know what I mean? But no, it was unbelievable.
I always find at festivals the final headliner. You might like I don't know what your thoughts are as one of the main bookers, but you might as well save a bit of money because most people are not going to remember it. Be too sick and tired, and it doesn't matter how good a show they put on. They're going to think, oh, I'm just knackered. I want to go to bed. So just say,
yeah, exactly. I mean, we did it. I mean, my plan every year for Glastonbury is to leave. This is a pro tip for anyone listening: is to leave on this Sunday night / Monday morning. So we get a coach out at like 2:30 in the morning.
That's a play.
So essentially, wake up on the Sunday, pack your gear away, hide it in someone else's tent. As soon as the headline is finished, just get out there as quick as possible. Because Monday mornings at festivals are the worst. It's the saddest day anyway. But I'm usually in bed by the time everyone at Glastonbury wakes up. So I'm watching the highlights, so they're trying to get out of the car park. So.
No, I can vouch for that. You're just like for the last couple of years at least. For me on the Monday morning, it's been like you're just too done in to do anything. The tent's flooded. You don't know what to do.
Yeah, precisely that.
You're watching Match of the Day 2 at 5 in the morning, and the coach doesn't come for another 6 hours.
Yeah, and all you got left is flat Carlsberg. That's all we got.
I remember I did what you did last year at Leeds, where you left early. We left Sunday night. We had everything packed in the car. It was all good. Like, okay, here's what we're gonna do: whack everything in the car, tents down, just in time to go see 21 Pilots, and then Post Malone, and then go back to the car. It was brilliant. We all four of us. We walked back, and it was like the world was ending around us. Then we saw tents on fire. We saw fights. It was brilliant, and it was so poetic as like we're leaving this hell. Like I'll definitely do. I'll do the same again. I wouldn't stay for the Sunday night.
No way. No, it's yeah. Everyone's on their last legs, but no. Yeah, I highly recommend going to Glastonbury for sure, if you can.
We need to get tickets, lad. We need to get tickets, Shoney. It's I mean, you might have the money, definitely not. A poverty-ridden student like myself. You need to save some. But anyway, back to a different festival.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, nice little tangent.
Sorry, to the
there.
best festivals.
Yeah. The two top festivals in the UK, I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
Tramlines and Truck. I'm going to go straight out with it. Which one do you prefer?
Oh.
Oh.
But they're like my babies. Definitely Truck. No. Yeah, Truck's probably my one. Tramlines
Do they have?
Only got.
Go on. No, after you.
Tramlines was. I've only been working on Tramlines. This would have been my second year on Tramlines 2020. So I've only technically put on one Tramlines. When I've been part of the team. But yeah, Truck, I've been with it since 2014 was my first one, and we just got to the point where it had just been taken over. So I joined like the new team, and it was only about 3,000 people. But every year we've just put the work in, grew the brand, and now it's like 3.5 day, 20 plus thousand people, and we've basically just like gone up with it. It's been nice. Everyone knows me and my boss. Me and my boss look exactly like each other, but we're just nicknamed the Truck Boys. We are Truck. Everything we do is Truck. All the music we listen to is Truck. Blah blah blah. So it's we put our heart and soul into it. So that's my little baby. Without being so wet in sounding that way, but yeah.
So how do you actually end up getting into something like this?
So, I mean, I sort of tripped and fell into it. I caught the festival bug when I went to Leeds in 2006. That was my first festival, and Mum and Dad loved to go to festival. Liked the idea of festivals and all that music. Went to loads of gigs. I knew from early age that that's basically what I wanted to do. I mean, I tried and failed playing guitar, so I was like, there's more money in
We all
paying the artist than it. Yeah. So I went to university, did music and live events management. There is a degree in that,
Okay.
apparently. And in my first year, I just emailed as many people as possible to try and get work experience, because I knew that the degree is good, but no one particularly would care, especially in this industry. You need to be there doing the graft.
Of course,
So
yeah.
I actually emailed Why Not Festival, because that was part of Truck and Why Not were together at one point. So I actually emailed them and said, have you got anything? I went for an interview the week after, had like an internship there for like 3 weeks, and I basically just tried to being annoying, try and like give me some work. So I just did as many crappy jobs as possible for them, and it just grew and grew and grew. And then when I graduated, they just said, yeah, can you move to London? And that was in 2017. And then yeah, I've just basically just been with it then as a full-time employee since early 2017. Yeah.
So you're living the
That's basically it.
long-term dream. Like, this is what you
Yeah,
wanted
it's a
to get
slog.
into, and it's worked out. Wow.
Yeah, again, without trying to sound wet, that was my dream. Again, this is sad story. Yeah, it's about a soppy story, but I had the Leeds Festival 2006 poster on my wall, and I was like, even just the poster, I was like, how do they do that? How do they get that artist there? How do they do that? How do they determine it? Blah blah blah. And then my first year, we were putting the poster together, and I was like, yes, right, this is sick. I like this. And I just caught the bug in that sort of sense, and just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. And that's basically what I do now. But yeah, I do count myself very lucky for it. But yeah, I do put the hard graft in. It's taken me a long while, but we're finally there.
Well, you just mentioned the big question. What? Just run us through what it's like booking a band for a festival, or maybe a headline. It could be a headliner. It could be someone on at 12 in the morning. Well, how do you go about it?
So I mean, the process for us. I mean, this is obviously not for everyone, but our sort of process is that we try and build on the year before. So we, as I said, we love the music that's on, so we sort of get the vibe of who we want, who we think will fit, blah blah blah, like all this sort of stuff. And we also have like obviously a set amount of budget, and we know how a headliner will cost. So who do we think will cost that much, blah blah blah. So then we put a big wish list together of like, right, let's see if we can get these guys, let's see if we get these, and then we have like an external person who books a lot of festivals, but he comes to Truck and he does Truck's bidding essentially, and we say we want this band. Are they available? Can they do it? Do they want to do it? And then he comes back, asks the agent, comes back to basically like a middleman, and they say, well, they actually want more budget, and blah 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 blah, and that's basically the process. And we do we keep our ear to the ground. We see what people want. We do a big survey at the end of the year of like, who do you want to see? And you can see like, okay, a lot of people want to see Foals, but then only 2 people want to see, I don't know, Noel Rogers or something. So we know, okay, we sort of want to go for more Foals, that route, all that sort of sense. And that's basically how we do it. And it can be, you can get artists booked within like 2-3 days, or sometimes it takes months to do it, because it's got to be right for them. Are they in the country? Is the routing right? Are they on holiday? Blah 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 blah. All this sort of stuff. But yeah, and it can be quite a slog, but yeah, it can be quite rewarding. I mean, when we finally got Foals, because Foals was the top wish list, other than Radiohead, but Radiohead won't get back to us. Foals has been like the number one for us. And then when we found out, I still remember it. We were in the pub, and we got the email, and I stood on top of the table and fucking shouted. I was like, "We fucking did it!" Round of shots. Until like 4 a.m. And that was in like October, and we announced it in February, so you have to keep it stum. And it's like really annoying, but yeah, It's quite cool. It's quite cool.
I guess that's the benefit of having a smaller team, less mouths to tell everyone. I guess. But you're booking them back in.
Yeah.
Back then. Have you, I'm trying to like think, like, for example, Foals. How do they have their, like, when they're touring that album in like normal venues, and then festivals? Like, what was announced first? So I guess they have the times before they get announced.
Yeah, I mean, because we got them in 2018, so well no, with the 2019 festival. But I mean, we knew we knew like 3-4 months before that they were going to come back for an album. So they plan it obviously all in advance. They probably get a 2-year calendar in of like, this is the route we want to do. We play these venues first, and this one, and this one. But we found out in the September, and they announced it in January, that they were going to come back for an album. They were going to release a single. Then they're going to put this on sale, and then we were going to be announced in this like window. So it's, yeah, and we get to hear little trade secrets, and most years we probably hear who's going to headline Red and Leeds Performance people, and you hear other industries and other festivals who they've got, and you try and work out how can we do better than them, blah blah blah. So it's cool. It is a shout of secrecy, but it can be quite fun. Yeah.
Before you were talking about obviously this sort of jubilation that you got when you managed to finally get Foals, and you were talking about how sort of Truck Festival is you, it's your music, it's who sort of a representation of who you are. We are also Foals fans ourselves, and
yeah,
I know we also had a bit of jubilation when we I did a cappella of me singing Two Steps Twice.
Yeah.
And that got liked by Foals on Instagram. So I mean, we can all share our jubilation of being Foals fans, but I can only imagine how it kind of feels, you know, to actually. So were you directly in contact with Foals?
No. Or, it's all like through their management and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, God no. But yeah, I mean we don't ever see them, meet them, shake hands with them. It's just like, it's cool. They played. Yeah.
Could you not even like?
No, we never actually meet. Well,
could you not even get like a little handshake on the day? You know what I mean?
Probably. But then we're just so busy on site doing all the other things that. But yeah, we did take off. We did take a lunch break when they played. So just like, all right, we can actually sit and watch this. And yeah, it was like a moment. And yeah, it was just a moment for the actual festival, because I mean they recorded their first ever demo on site at Truck. So there's a few barns on site because it is a farm, but there's a barn that has a recording studio in it, and in 2006 they recorded their first ever recordings like on site. So it was like a full circle moment of them go around the world and then come back, and then they played Two Steps, and their demo was recorded like 50 meters from where they were from the main stage. So it was like, this is cool. This is very fucking cool. And they did that little documentary thing. It's on YouTube at the moment. That came out in like June, I think.
Yeah, it was to promote their new tour, I think. That I still haven't seen it. I've been saving it for the rainy day, but I've got a lot to go. I'm just thinking I had completely forgotten about that a cappella, and I'm just trying to think whether that was where the page peaked. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's not gotten better than that. Off my like, Foals are my favourite band. Like it's not gotten better than that. And I don't think it is. I think I was genuinely considering just stopping the page at that point, because like just the jubilation, my mind had gone. We were due to see Foals. We were due to see Foals twice. The summer just gone. Oh, it was chaos, absolute chaos. But anyway.
Yeah.
Back to the whole booking of art. So do you? I know you're the marketing manager. So you're. I'm guessing you're the man who takes most of the credit for getting the festival or growing the festival to as big as it currently is. Is that because you run all the Instagram pages and all that, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely not going to take credit for myself, but it's definitely 100% a team effort. We just don't. I don't know. We don't. I don't just do the marketing, or the operations person doesn't just do the because we're in the same room and we talk to each other. We can help like each other do it. So we are a team together, and marketing is just like a tagline for that. And I do dabble in other things and all that sort of stuff. But we sort of have a vision of what we want to do, and we know where we can take the brand, and can we get better photographers to make it look better. That sort of growth. But yeah, it's definitely definitely a team effort. But yeah, I'm the troll, as it were, on the marketing pages. I mean, I'm not sure if you follow us on Twitter, but I just splurge absolute bollocks on there, absolute bollocks, and it's great, and I'll get paid to do it. So,
well, whoever's idea the whole potato thing was, I think, was that your idea?
That was definitely a drunken idea.
A drunken idea. Yeah. Oh my god, that's brilliant.
It was, and I don't want it to be a one-hit wonder for me, because I feel because it went so well that everyone's like, "What are you going to do next?" I'm like, "I don't know." And
Carrots.
Like carrots, yeah. I mean, we did fortune cookies this year. I do have an idea for next year, but I'm not going to say it.
Of course,
we'll have to wait and see. But yes, the potatoes was, it was so ridiculous, because it was a week after we found out about Foals. I was like, well, however we announce it, it's gonna do well. Like, of course it was. Like, it's just gonna be. I could just like write on my forehead and put it out, and I'm sure we do well. But we're just in the pub. I was like, how can we do it? And my uncle, a week before, had sent me a potato for my birthday, and I didn't know who sent it to me. I was like, well, let's just do that. So we went to Morrison's, spent 30 quid on potatoes, and just like wrote. It took us like 3 days to do it, and we sent them out on the Friday to land on the Monday, but the postman actually delivered them on the Saturday, and we weren't legally allowed to announce an artist until the Monday, so I was shitting myself. And our PR woman phoned me up. She went, so the NME have just been on the phone. They've got their potato, and it's going to be on their front page in 20 minutes. I'm like, no, what am I going to do? So we couldn't say anything, and it just grew and grew and grew, and it went mental. My phone was going, and I couldn't tell anyone, or I couldn't confirm it was us. And the front page of NME was Foals, the headline truck, written on potatoes. I was like, what are they going to, have I balls it up? It's our one shot to get our favourite band, and I'll just fucking put on potato. But luckily, it went okay. But for like 48 hours, I was absolutely shitting myself. Yeah, it was very fun.
I'm just trying to think, like, around February next year, I'm just going to be checking all my different foods for names of indie bands. You haven't told, you're not telling us what's next. Oh, it's going to be brilliant. I'm going to be checking all my food. Oh, that's going to be funny.
Yeah, I might just go to the fresh food aisle in Tesco, just write it all on there. Next one.
It was a very good idea. I do think I remember it when it kicked off, and I was like, is it Potato Farm? I couldn't click on it the first, because I didn't know you could, like, there was a thing you could send potatoes to your mates with like messages and stuff. I was like, what a weird thing. And then it obviously clicked, and like, oh yeah, that's a very good piece of marketing.
Thank you.
It was
again
one hit one.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
But in terms of like marketing other festivals, I know like Truck would be a little bit more. Just off the top of my head, I'm saying Truck may be a little bit more aimed at the younger generation than Tramlines, for example.
Yeah. Definitely.
And do you find the marketing needing to be different? Can you do any of that wacky stuff with Tramlines, or is it all very strict?
I think we try. So the ultimate thing that we try and do, or I try and tell anyone to do, is that it's basically just try and cut the bullshit. Basically, try and be as personable as possible. Like, we're people, they're people. Let's just be silly. Let's talk to them. Let's like not try and hide behind some like secrecy or anything like that. It's just like, let's just be funny. People want this sort of stuff. People will pay attention to you if you're, I don't know, just want to be their friend, as it were. I mean, I was playing Among Us with loads of truck people this week. Just like, why not? I mean, but yes, Tramlines is a little bit more serious. You can dabble in a few memes, but sometimes just like pushing it too far. I mean, I think I put an Arctic Monkeys meme on the Tramlines page, and instantly everyone was like, Arctic Monkeys are playing, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it's just a meme. Like, even if I tried to, even if that was an announcement, how stupid would it be to announce Arctic Monkeys for a shit meme?
Yeah, but they're
Again,
probably...
I'm just going to clarify, they're not playing, but still, it's just so stupid. But yes, you do see the different audiences.
They might be thinking that's your new wacky scheme, though. Like, you're the man with the potatoes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, so yeah, you do have to tread carefully sometimes. But no, but Tramlines is a whole different beast. I mean, it's like their Glastonbury. Like they already buy a ticket like the Monday after it. Like, we sold 60-70% of the tickets like 11 months before the gates opened, just because people just go every single year, and it's so cheap, and they can go to bed at night, not in a tent, and it's just good crack. But yeah.
So what was the reason for you taking the Tramlines job in the end? Like, because you seem pretty busy with truck, or did you just need a new challenge, or what was it that made you?
It was a whole change of management, essentially. I think people didn't want to do it, and it was taken over by a different company, a different holding company. So my boss, who I've been with truck, has been like, had his foot in the door there for a while, and it basically just was. And Tramlines has changed as an event. I mean, for 9 years it was an inner city festival, like a bit like Great Escape, as it were, I suppose, or Dot to Dot, where it's all the different venues. And in 2018 it changed to be in Hillsborough Park, so the whole event had changed, and there was like 40,000 people now instead of the 12 in the venues, so it was a completely different beast. It just needed new branding, it needed new direction, I don't know, but yeah, we took it on. I took it on personally last May, I think it was. Basically see it through to the event, and then we change the branding, get the new artists in, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But no, it is a different way of looking at things, because you're basically steering a ship that is already there. Like truck, we built it. Tramlines was like, right, let's just control this beast that it is.
Keep it on course.
Keep it on course, as it were. Yeah, that's a better way of saying it. But yeah.
Have there? I know the different styles of festivals, but the different festivals, or all in all, you stay overnight in a truck, don't you? It's a tent one. I'm gonna. It's one of them, isn't it?
A tent one. Yeah, it's a tent.
It's
a green field.
Yeah.
Is
that the professional way of saying it?
We're a tent one.
It's
Yeah.
How, like, I can only imagine, like, how do you need to? How much of the farm? You say it's on a farm. How much of the farm do you take up? Did you take up, and how much are you taking it now? In terms of like where people are sleeping and all
that. So it wasn't obviously. I mean, truck has been going since '98 was the first one.
Oh, wow!
And it was, it's been going. It's one of the longest running ones, and not many people know about it, which is actually quite shocking. But yeah, it's been going a fair while. But it did start out as a house party that got out of control, and then just grew and then grew and then grew. But I think we take up probably about 70% of the land, I think, and there's definitely room to expand, but we don't want to go too big too quickly, and we are slowly getting bigger and bigger, but we want to do it respectfully, and we want to do it right. We don't just want to go from 20,000 to 40,000 straight away, because that's like a whole heap of challenges in itself. So you grow it slowly, and you do it, and you know, like 30,000 people to control is a lot harder than 20,000 people to control. So, and there's the traffic in it as well, and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, it used to be a 2-day festival in 2014, and then we added the Friday, and then in 2017 we had like a few traffic problems on the Friday. So we thought, okay, let's get a Thursday entry in. So now we've got it to that stage. So it's traffic goes over 2 days instead of just one. And it's just slowly getting bigger in that sense. And yeah, we can expand the campsites, and we can do this and do that. And we were going to do it this year. We were going to make the main arena bigger, but obviously not. But yeah, you just slowly build it up, slowly.
It sounds like absolute hell on earth, like a safety nightmare, health and safety nightmare. The whole ordeal. I was talking to my mate the other week actually, and we were talking about if we were to set up our own festival, how much do you reckon health and safety would cost? And we didn't come up with a number because we just kept adding to it. It just kept getting big. Oh yeah, bouncers, not bouncers, but like security. They're basically bouncers.
Security.
I mean, I don't know how you do it.
Tents. Yeah, you got the portaloos, you got your Ferris wheel people, you got your first aiders, you got your blah blah.
Fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers, you need plenty of them.
Fire extinguishers, yeah, you got to fire brigade in. The police want to come to, yeah, and then you got to do the license applications as well. You got to do the meetings. You got to speak to the residents, make sure they're happy. So we have like 3 or 4 resident meetings in the village town hall to basically just calm down Gladys, who's going to have loud noises for 3 days. And sorry, Gladys, if you're listening. But yeah, there is definitely a lot more to it than people think. People just think it is just you put a big stage in and that's it. But there's definitely a lot more to it, and it sort of helps that we put it on every year, so we know what contractors we get in every year and all that sort of stuff. So some of it is just okay, just rebook them. That's it, done. But yeah, there's a lot of things to it. The spider diagram would be ridiculous. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
So how much of like that time, of your time, sort of throughout like the course of a year, is spent on doing that actual sort of stuff itself, the logistics of it? You know, speaking to Gladys, sorting her out, and like basically the sort of management of the festival itself.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've sort of gotten away from that a little bit. And
good.
We do have like, I have like the event manager who does it, and we have an operations manager, and we have an operations assistant, all that sort of stuff, and we do have contractors to look after that. But it's sort of like just going on slowly in the background for everything we do, and we've got stuff booking those things in can take quite a while, because you got to argue on price as well, because we're a business and we've got to get things as cheap as possible.
Of course.
So, and we've got to do the access needs as well.
Yeah.
And people could come to us like 2 months before and say they need this provision, so we've got to get that in. And so yeah, and there's a lot of sponsorship as well. That's mainly what I've been doing at the moment, is how do we get sponsors for things? What do we want them to do? How much money can we get from them? Yeah. But I mean, it's slowly in the background. But again, it helps that we've got a lot of the suppliers year on year that sometimes we don't have to think about it. We just say, right, you're coming back again. Pay you this much. Done. That's the toilet's booked. Right. Now we've got the tent guy to sort. Blah blah blah. So yeah, it's slowly on the background.
Yeah. I
Slowly.
suppose that's one of the important reasons why you're trying to grow it slowly as well, because obviously if you take this big jump, there is a huge infrastructure shift that you'd need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, if we need a bigger main stage, I mean, or we need like, I don't know, 5,000 more Portaloos, but the guy that we usually get only has 2,000. Right, we've got to get 3,000 Portaloos off a guy that we've never met. So we got to trust that they're good Portaloos, and if they're not, then they're going to piss off a lot more. Yeah, blah blah blah. So you do it slowly, incrementally, as it were, and it's good. And it's good for the people that come as well. So it's not just a smack in the face. This is bigger now because we can make it bigger, but we want to grow it with the people. Oh, that sounds so wet. But you know what I mean? God, grow it with the people.
Very wet podcast today.
Heart my sleeve. Yeah.
So if we set the scene now, it is Truck Festival. We're there now.
Yeah.
How much time do you actually get to yourself to sort of go around Truck Festival and watch some acts and have fun, have a festival, or are you?
It's.
Go on.
It's really annoying because I really want to go to Truck and I can't.
Right.
I really want to go.
That's kind of what I was.
You don't even go to Truck.
Well,
you know what I mean. I want to go as a punter. I
Yeah.
really want to go.
Oh, okay.
But I can't. That's what. Oh yeah, I'm definitely there. I'm not putting my feet up somewhere. No. Like, I'm there, but you know what I mean. I really want to go, and I really want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm there like 10 days before, 10 days after. So I'm there. We're there as an empty field, and we're there when they're building it, and then when it comes to it, I've got to look after the photographers, make sure they're fine. Got to look after the merch people, make sure they're good.
oh god.
And we've got to, yeah. So we got. It's a lot. It really is a lot, and we get like probably a Sunday is a little bit more relaxed in the sense that we can. Most things are sorted and everyone's in their groove. But yes, I am walking around with a headset in my ear just in case something kicks off. But I mean, it's such a good festival that nothing kicks off actually. But yeah, we saw a couple. I saw a couple acts last year, but not as many as I wanted to, which is really annoying.
Like,
but because what we put on the acts that we want to see, and we can't see any of them. So.
can you imagine like promoting all these bands for like over like what from like February-ish, like nearly 6 months, 5-6 months, and then you don't get to see any of them? Oh, you'd be fuming, wouldn't you? You'd be absolutely livid.
100%. Yeah. So I mean, like, who was it? I mean, Nothing But Thieves. I really wanted to see her at Truck. Yeah, I just couldn't get the time to see them. But I mean, it's all. I mean, obviously, I was doing something more important that obviously kept someone else safe or did something blah blah blah. So, but the one thing that really annoys me that I have like 20, 25 of my friends come, and I put them on the guest list, and they're all steaming for 3 days straight. And I'm there like, I just want a beer. Yeah, it's the only. Funny enough, it's the only weekend that they're all free because they can get a free festival. But any other weekend, they're not there.
So you get to
Well, you
watch
would
your
if it's
friends
free,
have a great
wouldn't
time.
I mean, yeah, you would. It's free, but why don't they want to spend time with me? Why don't they want to go to a festival with me? It probably says more about me, doesn't it? But yeah, all my family come and they enjoy it. My mum and dad love it. But yeah, it's quite annoying that I have to be sober for the whole weekend as they're getting absolutely trolled at my expense.
So when you say you're like bitsy during the festival, is it just like a few bits and bobs there, or you're like breaking up fights, trying to sort
I mean, if
sorting out the riffraff?
I couldn't fight my way out of a paper bag. Jesus. No, I'm a lover, not a fighter. You know. I'm looking after the socials. I'm looking after the photographers. Make sure they're getting the right pictures. Are they going to go into the right bands? Are they getting the pictures of the car? Are they getting pictures of people in the campsite? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? I do a lot. And I keep an eye on the socials. If anyone's got any queries, come to me. Like people at the festival want to know where they can get water, I'm the guy to reply to that. And I have like a little team as well, a little team of helpers that for it as well. And I sort of oversee some of the venues as well. So at Truck we have the Rocking Chair, which is our cabaret style venue, and I basically oversee that, and I work with the guy to book all that. So that's like my little baby, my little project on site. So I make sure that's running safe. Our band's going on time. I have to keep an eye over the operations team. Is there a band running late? Do I have to send out a tweet for that? People can get aggy, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, just have to keep my ears to the ground and be the comms guy, as it were. Anything goes out, it's through me. Is there the press team? Are the enemy journalists happy? Are the DIY journalists happy? Do we need more beer tokens? I mean, that sort of stuff.
It's just all about making people happy. It's not a
making people happy. That's basically my job.
very
yeah.
wet again.
Very wet. I know. Fucking. No, I love them really. I love them.
So your baby is the Rocking Chair. I haven't been to Truck before. So what's the Rocking Chair?
So when I came on full time in 2017, we had this idea. I mean, we've always been music focused, and I think that's fair to say that's why people go, and that's totally fine. But if there is an hour slot that there is a band you want to see, and it is a festival, so you do want to see something that you would never see usually.
Yeah.
So we had this idea of like a cabaret-ish type venue, comedians, all that sort of stuff. And at my university, the guy who ran the student union is an agent for all these types of wacky artists. So I just went to him, we've got this budget, let's just have a tent full of all of this. So in the first year it was quite small, but we had like the mariachis play, we had like brass bands playing, all that sort of stuff. So we had like the Doritos band come. It was great.
Oh my god!
So
You got the Doritos band. Oh my god! I haven't heard about them in years, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they come. Yeah, so we had them, but this year, last year, we moved the venue to the barn, which has always been a venue. It is a cow barn. It does stink of shit all weekend, but that's part of the charm.
Is that what you tell people?
It's just what's known for. You walk in and it gets cleaned like a week before.
Oh.
But yeah, it's still got this pong, but it's great. It adds to the just adds to it, you know. But yeah, and that's my like baby. We get it up, and then last year, we had Barry from EastEnders do karaoke.
I remember that. I had no idea what was going on, but it was all over your Instagram, and I had no idea what was happening, but it looked incredible. Great.
Yeah, he was only supposed to do an hour, but he ended up doing like an hour and a half because he loved it so much. Yeah,
How many people were there for karaoke?
Probably like 700, 800.
Oh, that would have been quality.
There was a queue to get out of it.
Oh
at the
my
venue.
god.
It was that bad. Yeah. But he was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He's such a nice guy as well.
Oh.
But yeah, he just goes on stage, he's got like the words behind him. He just picks people out of the crowd to come and sing like "Don't You Want Me Baby" and "Gold." Toto Africa. And he was only supposed to play an hour. He was like, "No, I want to do more. Just kept dragging people out the stage. Yeah, fine, whatever.
Is all that like wacky? I'm going to call it wacky stuff because it's not part of like bands. I'm sure it's not wacky. It's more performing arts. Even Barry from EastEnders, but it's is that all an afterthought, or does is it definitely more line up first?
I think it goes. Now it's become more of a. So in the first year, it was an afterthought. Admittedly, I think we got to like March and we were like, let's do this. But now, because it's more people go and we see like the demand and people love it when they're on site, we know it's a feature that people will come for. Like besides the bands, like people want to And when we announce Barry, then that'll sell some tickets, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, we start to think about it earlier each year. The more people seem to enjoy it, and we start to think about it now. Like a sponsor could do that, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to think about it earlier because we have to kick off the conversations with possible sponsors for it.
Yeah.
So that's like my project at the moment, is to think about that a lot more, because that's what a sponsor would sponsor more than sponsoring a stage, because it's just a lot easier to get hold of. So yeah, it starts to get there. Starts to get there a little bit earlier. Yeah.
In terms of, let's say booking the lineup, is it headliners first, then whoever's going to play before them, then whoever's going to play before them, or is it you just call up hundreds and hundreds of bands and see who gets back to you first? Because I imagine it's like you know those like old stock exchange movie scenes where they got like two phones on the go. But like, I'll put you on hold. I feel like it's that.
Yeah. Dave, what have you got? Dave, what have you got? Yeah, it's just got big screens around the office. It's like, who's available?
That's what they did at Leeds.
No, cheeky. We start top down usually, because they're expensive, so you want to get right, and they're the ones who are probably planning more in advance, so you have to get in there first. And they're the most contested, because if we don't get them, then who else is going to get them? So you have to get there first, because if, for example, Reading get them, then we can't have them at all. So have to go in first. So yeah, I mean Wolf Alice, for example, when we got them, we had them for the 2019 festival, but we had them booked before the 2018 festival was even on. So we booked like 13 months in advance. It makes it a lot easier once you've got a headliner, because when you say, or approach another artist and say, well, these guys are playing, and they're like, oh, we want to play because they're playing. So it makes it a lot easier. Once the top ones are in, then we can start filling underneath. Yeah.
So who is it that like starts to look for these sort of bands further down, bands that a lot of people going to the festival may not have heard of? Because obviously it's got to take someone to have quite a depth in knowledge of music and upcoming artists as a whole. Who's responsible for that?
So I mean, that's why it sounds a bit big-headed, but it is like me and my manager, because we go to gigs, when you can. Because we live in London as well, so we go to as many gigs as possible, and we see what the next, I hate the word, but the next buzz band or whatever. And we have a lot of friends who are like journalists, all that sort of stuff, and yeah, some people will recommend some stuff for us. So, and some bands will just ask us to come to a gig and say like, and they'll like email our work email and say, you're on the guest list if you want to come. So we go and just check them out. So we just try and keep our ear to the ground. We follow a lot of people and see what the taste makers are, as it were. So yeah, we try and get some hindsight and foresight on it. As I said like earlier, that we were like the first festival to put the sports team on, and that was like.
Yeah, I was just about to ask about that. Yeah, because we were talking about that before the podcast.
Just before. I mean, we got them in. Yeah, about 9 months in advance. But because we work with So Young magazine, who are very fucking cool. Like they're within that crowd, so they were like, check this band out. So we did, got them in, and then they just got bigger. And yeah, and they have like a little loyalty to us because they know that we liked them before anyone else. Sounds like a right dick, don't I? But you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Is there anyone else that you can kind of have a small claim to be involved in like the discovery of?
Blocks. So they
Okay.
applied through the band app. So we have a band app every year. So people apply to play, and yeah, they came in through the band app. They applied like anyone else, and I saw them on my little spreadsheet. And we listened to every artist that comes in. And that year we had like 3,500 bands came in. So it took 5 of us like a good weekend to scroll through all of these. And yeah, and we picked them out of the list. And yeah, we got them on like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And then, well, I mean, they're pretty fucking good now. So, little things like that, yeah. But then Truck in itself has a history of like bands before they're big. I mean, they had, in 2009, they had the XX play at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and for like 4 people. And like 3 months later, their debut album was out. Truck has a history of getting and just nurturing these people, and that's good. I think we like to keep that, definitely.
Another bit of a wet question, really. Does it give you kind of like a sort of good warm feeling when you sort of see these sort of bands that came on that were sort of really small at the first time that you got them on, but like they've sort of gone on to develop? Does that sort of make you feel like quite good about what you're doing?
Like festival parents.
Yeah.
Just wave them off into the sunset.
Your little bird leaves the nest, and now the headline in Glastonbury, and they've forgotten about you.
Yeah, that's fine. We always forget about you. No, yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's good to. Yeah, and it's good that it's, as much as we love them and we love to put them on, it's great when we nail it and we know that the crowd go absolutely mental bananas for them, and it's like that's when I love it, is when it could be a rogue booking, as it were, but when the kids go tits for it, it's fucking brilliant. That is way better. Like when we got the orchestra in, when we got the Oxford Symphony Orchestra in, and it could be a little wet, but when you see like 16-year-olds doing mosh pits to it, it's like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted. And they're like crowd surfing.
Those videos are brilliant.
And there is like the odd parent. You know, there's a lot of people in their camping chairs at the back, but where you really want to be is dressed as Mario doing crowd surfing to Beethoven. Of course you want to do that. Yeah. But no, it's good crack. That's the best.
I can imagine that's a really gratifying moment, that must be. Sort of just watching like the involvement that you've had. It just all like you see everyone having a great time. I can imagine that's a really good feeling.
It's the best. It is. That's because I mean it's a little bit of a spoiler alert, but we got this like mega video thing going out. So we've got like highlights of the past few years. We'll put it out soon, but we got this mega highlights of the past few years video of like the crowd, and I watched it like last week. I've watched it so many times because it's like, shit, it looks so good. This is why we do it, and because we sit behind a laptop like 11 months of the year.
Yeah.
And it's only 3.5 days, and then we start all over again. So it's you try and like squeeze as much fun out of those 3 days as possible. It's great. It's great.
So
it's just like,
we know you've got. Oh, sorry, go on, Mace.
No, I was just gonna say about that video that I imagine that it's like the kind of thing where you just sort of it's one of those things that you probably reflect back on and you say, this is how far we've come.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. I mean, and especially this year when obviously the world's gone to shit, but like this year when we raised like 15 grand for charity, and I was a bit like pessimistic about the whole thing. It was like, well, okay, we'll do some sort of thing on the weekend of, and live streams, and the fad of live streams was drying up. I was like, would people care? Do people care about us? All this sort of stuff. And then we raised like £15,000 for charity. I was like, right, that is reassuring. People still want it. People still love it, and that was a good feeling. That was a really good feeling. Yeah.
Basically, with when you're making this lineup, you do different things here and there. Like you get the orchestra, and then you get the big names, and then you might get a few underground names. And You'll get a maybe a bit of a heavier band. I don't know, for example, Idols, for example, a bit heavier. You might get a few acoustic sets. Do you feel when you're sitting down with your team and you're asking all about who should we get this year? What should we get? Do you feel pressured to cover all the bases you previously have done?
Yeah.
And being known to cover like
I get that.
all these different genres.
Yeah. I mean,
Because you look at like go back to Glastonbury. Go on. Sorry, mate. Go on.
I know exactly what you mean. I mean, well, because Glastonbury is a bit of an anomaly, and we always try not to compare it because they're so like themselves. It's like whatever they do is going to be brilliant. But we get like, I'm trying to think of an example. We do have like the different stages. So we have the main stage, the second stage, and like we call it the nest, and that is more the heavier side. And when we think of a band, we think of, okay, what stage would they be best on? Should they be playing at night? Should they be in the dingy tent? Do they want to play the tent? All that sort of stuff. But yeah, if we get like a soft acoustic act, we want to put them on in the early afternoon. Would it be best for them to play there? Obviously, like late at night, it's not going to really matter for them, or it's not going to be the best for them. But yeah, we do try and cover all bases as much as possible, and then we get like dance stuff on the second stage, and I ain't got a fucking clue who these are, but we know that people want it, so we ask someone to just give them a budget and be like, you just book that DJ stuff. I mean, I ain't got a clue, but I trust you. And they send me DJ names. I'm like, do a quick Google. I ain't got a fucking clue who this guy is. And then you watch the kids go absolutely tits for it. I'm like, yeah, this is way over my head. But we put it on because we know that people will like it. I'm not going to like turn away a DJ because I don't like it. We know the kids want it, so why would we deny it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah.
Who's your trusted dance music man then, or is that just someone who knows music? You just give them a message.
There's this guy who puts on like the premier dance music nights in Oxford once a month, and we just trust him, and we just go, right, you've got this budget, you take your 15%, but you get us something, and they send us like SAS or whatever. I'm like, yep, just get him, get whatever.
Just do it, whatever he says.
Holy
do it.
Goof, never heard of him, but get him in. It's like, but yeah, just let them take the reins on that. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this, or or you're gonna not be happy with it. What's your favourite lineup that you've had?
Oh, that is very good. I'm gonna have to look at them now. Wait 1 second. I mean, 2019 is gonna be hard to beat, I'm sure. I mean, here we have. I mean, that Idol set in the afternoon was pretty special. Nah, it's gotta be 2019.
2019.
Yeah. It's
I've
the
only
freshest of the memories. So.
Yeah.
But the best lineup is obviously 2021, and that's why everyone should buy a ticket now. They're on sale now.
Can you already buy them? Wow.
Of course you can. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's get looking.
Get them in. No, 2021 will be great. Zip.
Well, then I think that'll be a perfect place to kind of wrap it. Right. But I've got to ask one more thing. If if we see England doing well again in the future, will we have another Gareth Southgate festival?
Well, I mean, he's not doing too well at the moment, is he? But
no, he's not. He's really having a shite time.
Right, okay, you said it. I mean, it depends how many beers I have. How many beers I have. I mean, that's how the potato thing came about. That's how the Gareth Southgate thing came about. Depends how many beers.
Next one might be the Dominic Calvert-Lewin festival at this rate.
Grealish, Jack Grealish festival. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Sorry. Right.
I'm an Everton fan. Oh, Kazoo United.
No. Yeah, depends on how many beers I have. I do remember doing that festival, Gareth Southgate festival. Again, I was absolutely trolleyed. I think we just won on penalties. Was it Colombia? Was it the Colombia game?
Yeah, it was a Colombia game, yeah.
I remember standing outside my flat, one eye open, leaning against the lamppost, thinking, this would be so funny. And then woke up the next morning, 3 missed calls, one from the enemy, one from like BBC Radio. I was like, oh, for God's sake, what have I done now?
Oh, it turned out to work out well for you anyway.
Of course it did. Yeah. Gotta have a laugh, ain't you?
Yeah. And I know you haven't, like, there's no, line up for 2021 yet. But there's one important thing to ask. I don't know if you're, like, contractually not allowed to give this away or anything. What are the chances of us getting karaoke back?
I would say you have to speak to our lawyers, but I'd say there's a pretty good chance.
There's a pretty good chance of getting karaoke back.
Pretty good chance. It's pretty good. But can't confirm nor deny.
And I think that is all that anyone needs to hear before they go and buy tickets to Shrug Festival.
Of course it is.
Take a hint.
Nah.
Right, well, thank you very much for coming on anyway. It's been really good to have a chat to you, and it's been very insightful as to how sort of festivals work.
That's right, mate.
Very interesting.
Right. Yeah, no, good crack. Just anything else, give me a shout. But no, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, maybe once there's a bit of a lineup out, maybe we could get you back on again in the future.
Man, I'll speak to you in the new year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying any more than that.
Yeah, okay.
In the new year.
Okay.
Yeah. Look out in the post.
Everyone look out for it, Truck Festival.
Yeah, man.
Right then, thank you very much.
Cool.
And everyone who's watching.